BTK, they have a lot of early game damage. Dave talked about, you know, the Bruno Bully. They also have the Navaria long range. That's quite hard there.
Without further ado, guys, let's quickly jump into game one between TOB and BTK.
That's right, final series of the day on the way. On the blue side, best player revving up to get that buff. Mobazane on the other side, BTK and TOB. Final best of 3 in the playoffs and final series of today.
Now, I'm quite excited here. Both teams actually have a really nice draft. A lot of physical and a lot of magic coming from both sides, but Super Shark already being a little bit annoying, and it's going to be quite hard here.
Yeah, you're already looking at Shark in the jungle, harassing Zane, providing that vision, but he does have high mobility, especially running that Boxia.
Yeah, right here, let's take a look at some of the emblems. A lot of mobilities coming out throughout both of these teams. Now, they definitely have the Wilderness Blessing, right? You know, the emblems look a little bit wrong, but the Wilderness Blessing gives a lot of these heroes like 8% movement speed when they're in the jungle or the river, so everyone's really fast.
Speaking of fast, early engagement inside of the jungle. Best player very low. Able to get out of there using Super Shark to his advantage for the dash. But Chicken, he's not letting him go. Look, he may be able to catch him in the bush, but no, the recall was just too fast.
Yeah, and a little bit of an advantage going for the side of BTK. The goal leave is still pretty close, but right here, both teams, they're kind of looking to go forward on this side, kind of just farming out. You see best player right here trying to get onto that level 4, and so is Mobazane. So both of them farming up their jungles and getting ready for the next objective.
Yeah, waiting for the next objective. Not to mention, both of these teams are fresh off of a sweep. Area 77 taken down by TOB. BTK taking down Avalon 2-0, so they definitely have the momentum boost they're looking for, but it's going to be a battle of execution. And I will say with these two teams, they make barely any mistakes.
Yeah, fireworks coming out from both teams, but Ohio Brothers, they've been traditionally doing really well in a lot of these lower brackets. They've done well in the preseason, leading on to the regular season, and now, you know, we're gonna be facing kind of a little bit of a sneak peek. So this is going to be a very good game right here, a little bit of a turtle dance.
Yeah, turtle dance on the way. Who will be able to get the first objective? Already looking good for Mobazane in position for Retribution. T with the last Insanity flicker in onto Shark. Zane will be able to claim that turtle. T will be able to get the kill, find Shark. BTK eyes on the prize, but now T may be punished on the counterplay. Milo rushing in, secures the kill, shuts him down. You are going to see attempts of blades from best player. Put him Fried Chicken on a trampoline, but got the trampoline of his own. The immobilization too much to handle. Down goes best player.
Wow, we don't really see a lot of these roamers being able to catch up onto these assassins, but right there, Chicken was able to use that flicker, hits best player, and picks up that kill. BTK, they got the very first objective. They're up in gold right now. They're definitely going to kind of snowball ahead, especially with the Boxia pick where it's so objective focus.
Yeah, definitely objective focus, and if anybody can execute it, it's definitely Mobazane. Able to get that first neutral objective, which will give his team the slightest advantage when it comes to XP.
Yeah, but now take a look at some of the macro plays coming out from BTK. They're putting Chicken onto this gold lane, making it visibly clear, right? Giving ISO a leeway to kind of fast clear and go back to the base. So definitely putting some pressure, but best player right here already going for a little bit of an invade, and we don't see that often when it goes against Boxia.
And now the 1v2 matchup. Last Insanity from T. Astro Echo from afar. T need to get out of there. The Finch boys dive in from best player. Tips of blades dropping down for the knockup. Milo securing the kill with execution strike, and Chicken will fall. Best player takes him down.
Man, you could definitely see the Matilda plays coming out. He did die early on, but he was able to get a 2-man knockup along with best player picking up T right there. A 2-for-0 trade for the side of Ohio Brothers.
And now Mobazane invading on the purple buff. Has Shark, has Hoon by his side. You are going to see Shark taken down by Mobazane. Hoon dealing some damage, but also Zane able to sustain himself and gets out of there. He was able to, no, it looks like Yato got the purple buff.
Yeah, Yato did get the purple buff, but hey, that is going to be a buff towards the side of BTK. Denied, but Zia getting bullied by ISO right there. The Bruno matchup, it just seems so well when it goes against the Rithel.
That's right, Worldy at its finest, hitting Zia, connecting. You are going to see Chicken with the primal wrap, trying to deal some additional damage. A little slight miscalculation, and Super Shark for the punish.
It is a small mistake, but a lot of utilities have been used. Super Shark did use that ultimate, so it gave a free turtle to BTK. For me, you know, a shield along with all the teammates right there, I feel like it's a win for BTK there.
Yeah, definitely a win, but it's going to take a lot more than that to take down the Ohio Brothers. Both of these teams, powerhouses in North America, the #1 versus the number 2. Never know which way it's going to go.
Yeah, and 5 minutes in, the gold lead is still really close for both of these teams, so we can't really say BTK has the advantage or Ohio Brothers. But if we take a look at some of their comps right now, Ling has the ability to split push, but we also got Boxia rolling around, so they're going to be able to kind of just counter out that.
Yeah, and speaking of actions on the way, you're looking at a 2v2 matchup. ISO doing some damage, kind of having an easier time against Zia in the gold lane. Yato joining the party alongside Huna. Here comes Mobazane. Man, some early engagement. We may be in hands of a high kill game.
Yeah, definitely, and the blue buff little dance right here. Best player trying his hardest, doesn't hit the retreat, and the falling eagle goes in, but it definitely looks like TOB looking to disengage here. BTK able to pick up that buff and kind of just bullying their way around this assassin pick.
Yeah, now on the top side, some slight engagement on the way. Chicken with the flicker in, not able to in that lane, but they weren't able to take the turret.
Yeah, that's a flicker coming out from Chicken, trying to catch the second skill coming out from Matilda, but Zia was able to kind of just get away there on the Riddle. Now, we kind of see that Zia's having a hard time up there, so this switch coming out from Ohio Brothers, I feel like it's really, really nice.
Yeah, and looking at BTK, putting a lot of pressure on the top side. Down goes the turret. They're definitely focusing on the gold lane, and that may be a way for them to have the advantage.
Yeah, advantage indeed. You see a little bit of gold lead on the a little bit of a gold lead on the side of BTK, but honestly, both teams are just trying to deny some of these buffs.
Ooh, speaking of buffs, Astro Echo on the way, the knockup. Poon taken down to about 50% HP. Just have the black shoes, is going to use that to regain some of that health, but BTK, they do have map control right now. They were able to take the first turret and 2 turtles on their side.
Yeah, but Chicken, he's not having the cleanest game anymore. The circling eagle
is going to go down. Mobazane getting the wind of it, possibly. Very low, 25% HP. Tips and Blades dropping down, but Hoon will secure the kill. Last Insanity from T. Maybe able to get a double fried chicken. Gets Milo. He gets a double of his own. 5-5 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 trade advantage for the side of BTK. The goal lead is still really, really close. 7 minutes in, I believe this is one of the closest games that we have so far. Now, ISO, this Aritho versus Bruno matchup, he's doing so well. This last pick, Bruno, definitely in the favor of BTK.
Yeah, right now, ISO on fire, able to get 2 turrets so far, which means he is going to have the advantage over Zia, especially when it comes to the gold. And speaking of the economy, the battle on the turtle pit on the way, BTK already pulling the aggro.
And I think it's smart, right? You have a utility jungle coming out from BTK. Of course, they're going to be trying to get the objectives. Assassins, they want to farm up, they want to push into that late game, and best players doing exactly that. And I feel like even with this strategy of just giving up the objectives, as long as Ohio Brothers can take some sort of advantage on the opposite side of map, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, speaking of okay, a little bit of a conceal play from Chicken. Thought he had an opportunity for a kill, but was denied by TOB. And speaking of TOB, putting some presence in the mid lane, even though they're down turrets, down turtles, it's one of the things that doesn't really bother them. They're one of the only teams that I can say, when the odds are not in their favor, they still pull through.
And I feel like BTK's draft is so smart here. They put the X-Borg against Charizla, winning matchup here. Mobazane, cheese wheel, rolling onto the top side.
It's Milo, penalty zone for the double set, and flickers away to safety.
And take a look at bot. You got Chicken hiding in the bush. His flicker is on and available. So the first thing that when they see Zia, the flicker is going to be popping. He's going to try to knock him up.
Ooh, speaking of knockups, Shark checking the bush, finds Chicken, finds ISO. Both of them knocked airborne. Zia taking some massive hits. Does fall. Chicken picking up the kill with the Primal Wrath. Gets a double. Finds Super Shark. Mr. Worldwide in the building. Best player finds ISO. You're going to see Chicken with the triple. Takes down best player.
That gives BTK a 3K gold lead on this game right here. 9 minutes in, they're able to grab up the marksman on the bot side. A 3-for-1 trade for the side of BTK, looking to push the mid side.
Yeah, trying to siege that turret. We know how important this objective is. If they can claim that, it'll open up the map even more in BTK's favor, but TOB there for the denial. Hoon with the glooms, dealing some damage. Chicken very low, is able to get out of there. No, Milo with the shutdown, and now a possible punish. Rushes in, Shark able to get a set onto T, but not able to draw the kill.
Yeah, and Zane right there zoning his teammates off. They did end up losing Chicken, but they got like a slight push onto the mid side, but the counterplay coming out from TOB, the Lilia, it seems like it's doing quite the good work. Lilia recently received a buff where his second skill gets a 50% cooldown reset if you land on an opponent. So with this new buff, Lilia is going to be both good in the early and into the late game stage.
Yeah, but speaking of stages, a turret has been claimed, this time for TOB on the bottom side. That will be their first turret of the day. 7 to 8 so far. We've officially hit the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, and we go on to the mid game right here. A lot of these items are going to be built for both of these players. I believe Zia definitely has 2 to 3 items, Berserkers into Has Claws. You see the Lightning Truncheon being built up by Yato, and it feels like they're ready for a small Lord Dance Tango.
Yeah, and looking at best player, just focusing on the objectives, he snuck in and took down that mid lane turret, which means they do have map advantage for TOB. You are looking at BTK though, trying to get onto this Lord, zoning out TOB from even pushing through the mid lane.
Yeah, but they're looking to target Milo. Milo's kind of low, but whoa! The Lord is already at 25%. They do end up disengaging the Lord, but I think BTK has the advantage right now. They're looking to see if they could get this Lord here.
Yeah, Mobazane in position for Retribution. Winter Truncheon, you are going to see ISO go ahead and pick up and negate that damage when the Nature best player is going to get the Lord for his team, and now they have to get out of there alive. BTK trying to put on some hits. Chicken very low. Shark draws the kill, and BTK disengages.
Yeah, BTK was unable to grab up that objective. Even though they were the ones starting, it just seemed like best player had the better Retri in that situation. When we talk about the Retri situation, always assassins, they're going to have the advantage in terms of last hitting. But when it comes to a lot of these neutral objectives, kind of soaking up a little bit of damage, making sure they're in position, you have to give it to the objective focus.
Speaking of positions, TOB for the siege onto the tier 2 turret is able to claim that. Zia taking it down. Mobazane finds one, shuts down Hoon. Can they get another? Milo getting punished, hit with the Worldy. You are looking at T with the fire missiles, dealing some damage as well, and TOB will pull their punches.
Yeah, the Lord is going to be marching down onto the mid side. You have best player going across the map on this Ling, and that's kind of the advantage of having these really mobile assassins. He's always been famous for the Fanny. Now he's coming back with the Ling. He's definitely pulling BTK apart, not letting them group up into this death ball, where I feel like Mobazane, their strategy is to kind of group up, making sure that they could win these 5v5 fight, getting the picks that they can. But unfortunately, Ohio Brothers, their strategy is just a little bit better so far.
Yeah, so far in the early game, it looked like it would be more in BTK's favor, but with TOB, best player, able to take that mid lane. It just shows you how impactful of a turret that is. It opens up the map in their favor, and it kind of keeps BTK on their side of the jungle. It's a close kill game. It's 8 to 9 so far. Definitely textbook and what you expect from North America's top 2 teams.
Yeah, and right here, BTK, they're kind of looking to get some vision. I feel like Chicken is slightly out of position right here. He's looking for the pick, but gets the ultimate. Ooh. That's going to be a utility wasted, but ooh, Chicken
is taking some hits, very low. Heavy crossbow going out. Milo finds the kill, takes down Chicken. One player down for BTK. Mobazane very low as well. Best player dealing some damage. Will go ahead and step away, but you are still looking at Hoon and Zia willing to take that fight. Shark sustaining the team. Looks like BTK will have to push back. Turrets are dropping. The inhibitor has fallen on the top side for BTK.
Yeah, the mobility coming out from the Ohio Brothers just a little bit too much to handle. Yeah, best player going on to the boss side, getting that free tower, and you got a 4-man siege coming out on the mid side. BTK looking to find an opportunity to kind of slow the game, and I feel like the Novaria pick, this is where it's going to shine. You're able to grab up some of the items. 13 minutes in, you definitely have a lot of damage. Clear these waves, slow it down, make sure you get these team fights, and ooh, items coming up. You do see the Clock of Destiny onto the Lightning. He's going to be able to clear these waves fast, and that's exactly what BTK needs to get back into this game.
Yeah, and right now you are looking at Zia again, having an easy time in the gold lane, out farming ISO, something that we're kind of used to him doing against majority of the teams in North America. Definitely been a problem and shows that he has that international experience. But speaking of experience, Lord is going to spawn in. This is the enhanced version. We're now 14 minutes in, trickling into that late game, but it's TOB's advantage.
Yeah, TOB, if you just take a look at the map, they have majority of the river. BTK kind of peeking out here, trying to see what TOB is doing. But once again, TOB has the Ling. They don't have to commit. They could always look to split push, and they could go for the opposite side, but it seems like TOB, they want to get this objective.
Yeah, and right now, you're not looking at ISO being a part of that plan, so that will make it a little bit easier for TOB to take this objective uncontested, especially not having that marksman there. And that just shows you the power of the split push, right? When the minions are forced in on the opposite side of the Lord, you really can't take that fight because you got to defend your inhibitors.
And we did get to see the new item, the Flask of Oasis, being picked up by Super Shark here. And you know, that item is quite beautiful. As long as you put a little bit of utility, a shield, or some healing onto your teammates, they're gonna gain a shield if they're below 35%. But the counterplay from Mobazane, he has the Boxia. That's an anti-heal effect. You know, maybe they're going to be able to negate some of that shield and healing.
Speaking of negating, they are going to have to watch out. Luminous Lord is pushing on the top side, and you're looking at TOB starting to sink these lanes. We know they're one of the few teams who can go in for the early finish with the flawless execution, but BTK definitely won't make it easy. Mobazane, Chicken, Yato, T, ISO in position for defense.
Now, here's the real question. BTK, protect is clear.
Oh, big penalty zone drops down, but wait a minute, fight on the way. Heavy crossbow going in. The Lord making his way to the base. Crystal, best player, is going to find Yato. Zane goes back to the base to regain some HP. ISO dealing some serious damage, is going to be able to burst down the Lord. Super Shark does fall in the process. Yato as well. T, Immortality has been proc. Milo needing to get out of there as well as Zia, as they were very low, but BTK able to push them back from closing it out.
It's a 1-for-1 trade, but the towers, the inner inhibitors, BTK, it's exposed. That means they don't really have that late game insurance anymore. These lanes, these side lanes are going to be pushing, and the side lanes are worth, the side lane towers are worth a lot more than the mid lane. Because honestly, you kind of just Lord dance the Lord, the minion's going to push by itself. So right here, Ohio Brothers, they have the full advantage, and BTK, they got to make sure they find the pick, the Trizla. 4, 1, and 4. Best player, 3, 2, and 5. They got to find the shutdowns here.
Yeah, needing to find the shutdowns. And speaking of shutdowns, Zane hit with the knock-up, and Hoon takes down Fried Chicken. Tips the blade, dropping down. ISO very low. Milo will secure the kill. That is 2 members falling for BTK in the mid lane.
Yeah, and those are really, really tough members.
Oh, Yato from afar takes down Zia.
And that is a priority target right there. That's exactly what BTK needs to get back into the game. They got to try to find a way to get onto the backside, and Yato does exactly that with the Novaria. And that's why that pick is so good, especially in the meta nowadays. You could just kind of shoot that first skill, and he can make sure that you can get the vision necessary here.
And that makes it very effective. Taking down Zia opens up the opportunity for BTK to buy some time, play to the late game, and possibly turn this around. You take down the marksman, it limits their push potential to close it out.
Yeah, but look at the position from Ohio Brothers right now. They're completely dominating the whole entire map. BTK, they're kind of stuck in their base. They even have a 5-man here, but they're not even trying to check for the red buff. They're kind of giving it to TOB, making sure, hey, you guys can take all these buffs. We're just going to defend the waves. When the Lord comes up, we're going to try to go for a little death ball push. It might not happen, but they want to just prolong this game.
And this is where the split push potential comes out, especially with the Ling on your side. Best player will be able to go to the opposing lanes, clear out those minions, and possibly take the neutral objectives. But you do have mobility on the side of BTK, but they are lacking in terms of defense. Only down to their inhibitor left, but they are still going in for the denial. Look at Mobazane, already still in position for the objective.
And BTK chooses to go for a split push strategy. They're putting 4-man down near the Lord, and they're putting the expert to push that far side. So it's a disadvantage for the side of BTK, but Ohio Brothers, they're not biting. They're not going to just take this Lord 50-50. They're making sure that they can make this Lord happen here. And ISO, top side pushing in a little bit. You see that Trizla? Ooh, T.
Serious chase on the best player, buying some time, and he is very low, but he does have the tips of blades for the invulnerability to possibly get it. But Yato, wait a minute, he takes the Lord. Battle on the way. BTK claiming the neutral objective, but now needing to get out of there. Did they just turn this around? Best player very low. Zia takes down ISO. Members are dropping left and right, but the neutral objective goes to BTK.
Yeah, BTK does take the neutral objective, but Chicken is the one that does fall right here. BTK, with the Lord marching down, they're down 2 of the members, and Zia, even looking to punish T a little bit, chooses to disengage. Now, I don't know if this is going to be worth it, as this at least prolongs the game, but they have to be able to defend against this 3-man siege here at midside.
Yeah, I don't even think TOB is worried about the Lord. They have Zia, they can close it out, they have the numbers. Super Shark does find Yato. Mobazane very low. Zia will get that kill. On top of that, rushing into T by himself. Milo with the penalty zone in the mid lane. Inhibitor turret, last insanity as a means of escape. Back to the base he goes for some regen.
That's a 4-for-0 trade for the side of BTK, and they're going to just march straight into the base.
TOB trying to close it out, trying to secure game 1, but BTK for the denial. ISO and T still in position against the full 5-man team of the Ohio Brothers. Chicken now joining the party. Here comes the Edith we were looking for. A knockup possibly on the way, and TOB withdraws.
Yeah, but that's just not going to be enough. The Lord is pushing down onto the bot side, so at least they get a small saving grace, but without the towers being down, BTK is just going to have a disadvantage throughout the whole entire game. They already have to deal with the Ling split push. Now they have to deal with 3 lanes pushing against them, it's going to be very, very hard. But once again, we saw the Novaria do big. He was able to hit that Zia earlier and completely shut down that push. So if Yato gets a couple more hits here, you might see the game turn.
Yeah, but you can't count out BTK so far, right? It's almost 20 minutes in, so it's really going to boil down to split pushing and 5v5 engagements. And here goes the engagements we were talking about. Mobazane at about 45% HP, but Chicken will fall. Best player getting the kill, which means TOB has the numbers pushing through the mid lane. They may try and close this out.
And TOB is kind of baiting Chicken out of his little death ball. He's making sure that Chicken is separated away from the members of BTK, so it's going to be really hard to get Chicken back in, and you can already see there's 8 deaths there. Chicken kind of is getting picked off right here. He has to make sure he's next to some of the priority damages from BTK because they're the ones that are actually going to be killing, not Chicken.
Double digits for the goal build. It's definitely going to boil down to who can get there first. We're looking at best player, right? We talked about him running the lane. This is a chance for him to split push and open up these lanes and also possibly rotate around and take these neutral objectives with that Tempest of Blades. But BTK, this is now a 50-50, right? First it looked like it was going to be TOB, but now with the 20-minute mark, the respawn timers are way too high for anybody that falls.
Yeah, 20 minutes is honestly anyone's game here. With the Lord coming up though, TOB still is going to have the advantage. Now, one thing that I'm more interested about, why is there no too much immortalities being played? Is immortality an item that we're not trying to go for? Because it's late game. You need that insurance. You need to be able to just kind of die and come back alive.
And speaking of dying, Milo caught out of position on the 4-man set from BTK. He's able to get out of there. Zia will be able to claim that Lord, a distraction working in the Ohio brothers' favor.
And take a look at the spells. The Ohio brothers, they didn't trade anything. They still have all the purifies, the sprints, the flickers. So does BTK, but BTK has to use those to kind of defend it off. They have to make sure they don't get picked off here. Mobazane kind of looking to go forward, but it seems like no one's biting. BTK looking to defend. They have the Novaria and Xborg, 2 of the fastest wave clearing heroes in the game.
Yeah, but this time, TOB is the one that has the Lord marching down to the base crystal. Before we saw BTK claim that a little bit of saving grace, but now TOB has the slightest advantage to be able to end this. Can the Bloodthirsty Kings stop this push and turn this around?
Yes, they can. I hope they can. They're going to try to defend this Lord right here. Zane is honestly trying to get some damage dealt.
Yeah, here comes the damage. Lord marching into the base. BTK trying to hold him off. Tips Blade dropping down. Chicken very low. Needs to get out of there. The Lord making his way into the base. Look at the crystal. That is all she wrote for game number 1. TOB takes down BTK.